How does God use suffering for our good? We first need to understand what His will for us. In 1 Thessalonians 4:3, Paul says that God's will for us is our sanctification. Well, what is sanctification? Sanctification is the process whereby God transforms us into the character of Jesus Christ. He helps us to remove the sin in our life, and He replaces that with the fruit of the Spirit, with love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. The Apostle John in 1 John 3:2 says that when we see Jesus, we will be like Him. God will finish that process in us. He will transform us so that we completely have the virtues, the moral virtues of Jesus Christ. Now, some people have said that what God really wants is for us to be happy. Well, that's not correct. What God really wants is for us to be holy, and He will sacrifice our happiness in order to make us holy, in order to remove the sin in our life and to produce the perfect godly character in us that He wants to. Now, how does He do that? Well, He often uses suffering. In Romans 5, verses 3 through 4, Paul writes this, "And not only this, but we also exult in our tribulations, knowing that tribulation brings about perseverance, and perseverance, proven character, and proven character, hope. And hope does not disappoint, because the love of God has been poured out within our hearts through the Holy Spirit who was given to us." So God produces moral excellence in us through suffering. Just think about it. How do you develop patience? Well, you develop patience by being around irritating people for a long period of time. How do you produce endurance? Well, you produce endurance by being in a difficult situation in which you have to persevere. How do you produce courage? Well, you have to be in a frightening, fearful situation. How do you produce the ability to love your enemies? Well, you have to have enemies. Now, in this whole process, God is making us like Jesus Christ. But you have to choose how you react to suffering. So if you react to suffering by grumbling and complaining and by getting angry, well, then God can't produce Christ-like character in you. But if you react to suffering with patience, by trusting in God, by depending on the Holy Spirit to enable you to react with love and grace, then God can produce godly character in you. Take this carving. It used to be a solid block of wood. Imagine for a moment that God is the wood carver, that we're the block of wood, and that the carving process is how God is conforming us to the image of His Son through suffering. So our God is using suffering to carve us into a work of art, into a beautiful masterpiece that will adorn the halls of heaven forever. So you can trust God in suffering.